Okay, you guys, I want to talk real quick about how being easily triggered is another way of giving away the life force. Okay, and so I was saying that because I see a growing number of a lot of these celebrities, rappers, or whoever being very bold in their comments against black women. And of course, you have the usual guys on YouTube, and then guys leaving Facebook posts about this is why you're single, and all this mess. And so I was saying it to say is that I was, since I was talking about life force on one of my videos, what was it called? The Build-A-Bear Tower is falling. And I was talking about how a lot of these women need your life force as well as the guys need your life force. Okay, and I'm gonna talk about another group of women who uses the life force of black women too, besides the women who was always supporting, guys who just take from them. Okay, but I want to talk about how being easily triggered is another way of giving away the life force. Okay, so for example, like I know it was some story. I know it was a few weeks ago, and I'm a little late. But it was a story going around about some white guy who got into a fight with a black woman. I don't know what happened, but I guess some pro-black men made a video about it. Talking about, I guess, trying to talk about why black women shouldn't interracially date. Even though some of it I got that she wasn't in a relationship with the guy that attacked her, so. It didn't make sense. But see, here's the thing I want to say about that, because I'm at the point where I don't really care what these guys say. And the reason why I don't care what these guys say anymore, because there's no need to even, responding to them is a waste of time. They don't care. Okay? And so, I know it's a few women who made some videos responding to this pro-black male, or discussing what this how hypocritical the pro-black male was, because the black women face so much more violence within her own neighborhoods, within her own communities. And so I know they was trying to talk about how hypocritical the guy was, not so much, anything else. But the thing is that it just does not do any good to say anything to these guys, because it's almost like you're talking, it is like you're talking to a brick wall. And I think you might get more of a response from a brick wall than you would get from a lot of these guys who make these videos. They only do things like this. They make these videos and make these Facebook posts because they need your attention, no more than that. And so it just doesn't do any good to try to get them to understand how hypocritical that sounds, because they don't care. Okay, and by being triggered like that, it's another way for them to be validated. They're constantly validated, when even though you might be in an interracial relationship with a man of another ethnicity, by responding to these guys and really caring what they have to say, they still validated. They're still validated, even if you're with a white man or with an Asian, whoever he is. By responding to these guys' foolishness like that, they're still in a way validated. They feel validated because somebody is still paying them some kind of attention. So we know the ladies who are just stuck on black men, they're going to always respond. They're going to always respond. They might respond and say, yeah, that's why black women should stay in their own race. And then you got the other black women who going to call him a hypocrite. Well, you can't do nothing about those black women who are just fixated on black men. But the other ones, I think if they're going to be truly divested, it's time to not care what these guys say, because it's gotten to the point where most people are well aware that there is no getting through. I was listening to a video. I think it was a video about Samantha Cooker. Yeah, it was a video about Samantha Cooker, and I think a guy made a Facebook post about how he took some woman to a soup kitchen. And he didn't get the response from her that he wanted. But he took her to a soup kitchen for the first day, and he's saying that her standards are too high because she didn't appreciate a free meal. And so then he says that that's why y'all are single. That's why black women are single. See, here's the thing. It could have very well been a lot of black women that got in the comment section and roasted him. It very well could have been. I don't know. But here's the thing. Males like that are not even worth your roast. They're not even worth your roast. Okay? They're not even worth trying to explain. How, if you got to explain to a male that you deserve more than being taken to a soup kitchen on the first date, if you got to explain to him that your standards are not too high because you want your first date to consist of something more than a homeless shelter, a soup kitchen. I'm not dogging out no homeless shelter, nothing wrong with that. I'm saying this is where this woman went on the first date. That was probably her first time ever being in a homeless shelter, is when this man took her on that date. That is not her world. The homeless shelter is not her world. And like I said, once again, there's nothing wrong with the homeless shelter. I have no problem with that. But that was not her world. And she, I'm going to say she, allowed this dude to take her into another parallel world that is not hers. Do not be surprised if she goes on a downward spiral because she allowed that energy into her life. She allowed this energy into her life, and I hope she never talk to this man again. But I don't care about the man no more. It's time for black women to stop this mess. But I know a lot of them won't do it, so I learned not to even get triggered by the things they do either. But yeah, so you know, I know some women got in and roasted him and talk about why, you know, black women, you know, why it didn't make sense for him to say that's why black women are single, because their standards are too high. But I mean, he took her to a soup kitchen. But the fact that you got to explain that to him means that he's not even worth even two words. He's not worth a letter. I mean, he's not worth anything. Because if he can't even get common sense, if he don't think a black woman is worthy enough to at least take her to McDonald's, if he don't even think she's worthy enough to even do that, then, I mean, you can't have a conversation with him. Don't even bother to respond to such a person who posts those kind of things. Don't even bother. Stay quiet. You know how, like I said before, these white people didn't really start getting tired of black people until Black Lives Matter. Okay, but before, when you would see these pro-black, so-called anti-white, because they are not anti-white, but these so-called pro-black people and anti-white people get online and talk about white devil all day long, and I'm so sorry, guys, and fuss about the white man all day long and stuff. And you notice they never really clap back. They never really clap back. You did not see them start to make noise until this Black Lives Matter stuff got out of control. And then you had all this white guilt. White people were supposed to feel this white guilt. And that's when they started to speak out against black crime on other non-black people, because of the white guilt that was being pushed around that time. You know? So yeah, but other than that, you didn't hear these white folks constantly try to explain to these guys about you know, respond to these guys about these anti-white male, mostly anti-white male videos. You rarely heard them respond to that mess. And so the only people who were paying attention to these guys, that kept wanting to call these guys the white devil, the only people that was giving them their attention was black people, you know, black people. The white people weren't responding to them. They just said, oh, well, we're on top, get over it, and they moved on with their life. And it wasn't until Black Lives Matter that they really had something to say, you know, because that's when the real agenda was being pushed with this white guilt stuff, you know. But yeah, I was just wanting to say that, you know, and a few other ones. You know, these rappers coming out saying disrespectful stuff about black women, about dark-skinned women, about black women being some of the worst people on the planet, and just being triggered and wanting to yell at these guys. I mean, it's to a point like, look, if these guys think you are so horrible, then leave them alone. But see, why can't they do that? Now, I've already said the reason why some of these ladies allow so much disrespect. I'm not going to allow programming alone to be the only excuse, because guess what? It's just the same way that white supremacy was used as an excuse for the black men killing each other. They always had the excuse of white supremacy. And so now people are getting to the point where it's programming is the reason why black women are doing what they're doing. It's all this programming. So the same way the black guys got the white supremacy excuse, now the black women got this excuse of being programmed, right? And I'm not saying they weren't programmed, but what I am saying is that I think a huge piece is missing, the fact that a lot of these women just are afraid to face themselves. Once again, that's not a judgment. It's just that something else I'm going to observe. We can say program because everybody have a level of programming. There's hardly nobody who is not programmed. Okay, the only people who are truly not really programmed are people who are like Buddhist monks or something like that. Okay, those can be the only group of people who are not truly programmed, because they spend so much time, they have such a lifestyle to where they don't have to work and they get to spend so many hours a day meditating. So that means that they're constantly they get to know their inner world, their inner selves, their true selves, instead of paying so much attention to the outside world. Those are some of the people who I can really say are not that programmed. Other than that, going to work every day, working 9 to 5, the belief that you need to do all of this to pay your bills, which a lot of us do that to pay our bills, but the fact that we still have to get up and do it, and even if you're working online or have a stay-at-home job, it's still the belief of the need for money, right? Because that's implanted within us. That is a level of programming. So anyway, I don't want to get too far on that. What I'm saying is that I don't want to keep using programming as the excuse for why these ladies do the things they do. And I'm talking about the ones that want to right now continue to support these, support people who are not good for them. It's to a point where they need those guys to stand in the gap, because once those guys are removed, then they're left with themselves to look at. They're left to deal with themselves, and I've said that before. And so, that's one reason. Okay, but yeah, that's the end of this. And yeah, I was just talking about how, another way of giving away your life force is just being easily triggered by these things these people say. Being easily triggered. But, I know that's not going to end. Black women are going to always respond to what these guys have to say. And these guys are always going to be relevant because of it. They're always going to be relevant because of it. Okay. Yeah, that's it. And I'm going to make another audio probably tomorrow, day after tomorrow. But I'm going to talk about another way, another way that, black women's life force is being used, another type of vampirism. Because, somebody left a comment about that, and I wanted to talk about another group of black women, the so-called divested black women. And I said this before too, but I'm going to talk about that on another audio, because like I said, what has happened amongst the so-called divested group on social media, what has happened between the divested group in this last year and a half proves my point that if you remove all black men right now, black women are only left with themselves to look at. Because a lot of the women who have just chosen, a lot of these women who are saying that they are dating interracially, whether it's true or not, or they saying that they divested from Blackistan and all this stuff, but there is still the same level of hatred for their other fellow black women, the same level of hatred in them for black women as it is in the pro-black woman, then it goes to show that the bottom line is themselves. Okay, I said that before, and I might go into further detail. But yeah, I don't want to get too far off the topic of the video of just being easily triggered is another way to give away your life force, because you still validate people. It's not to say that what they're saying is true, it's just to make them feel like they're important by your response. This guy who took this lady to this soup kitchen should have never gotten a response, period. He was not worth a response. He wasn't even worth anybody. No black woman should have come under his post and left any kind. I don't care if it was 3 words. I don't care if a black woman came under there and said F you. The fact that he think it's okay to take somebody to a soup kitchen on the first date and then talk about her singleness, like he's not single, right? Like he's not single. It's funny how the guys who talk about black women being single, they're single too. But like I said, you cannot get that through to them because you're their target. You know, black women talk about how black men are hypocritical because black men talk about black women wearing makeup, yet non-black women wear weave and makeup, and they don't seem to care. But they talk about black women being overweight, but then they'll get with a 400-pound white woman. See, what it is that the black woman is their target. They're not interested in inflicting psychological warfare or waging psychological warfare with non-black women. They're interested in trolling black women. Okay, so yeah, they're hypocrites because they just want to keep trolling you. They want to keep triggering you. Okay, and continuing to trigger you is like putting your attention somewhere else besides where it should be, which is always yourself. Even if you have a family, your attention should be on you to be a better person for your family, even if you have a family. It's always to take you off your life path by answering to these guys. I told you the most dangerous thing for a lot of these elites is for black women to wake up to who they truly are. Okay, not just wake up to no Blackistan and wake up to black men and, you know, go outside and, you know, date interracially. That's one aspect of waking up to having a good life. But when I talk about waking up to who you truly are and what you represent and why it's such an effort to keep you down, and to, you know, it's a reason behind that, because why would so many people who run this world invest so much in keeping black women down? You got to, when I look at somebody who's a billionaire and they invest so much into the tearing down of black women, you gotta think that there is something more than just wanting to be petty, because billionaires got better things to do with their time. Okay, they have better things to do with their time, and it's more than just, okay, YouTube makes money, so that's why. No, it's more than that, because the minute a black woman wants to rise up, she will be knocked back down. If a black woman come and have heavy influence over other black women, where it's causing black women to really reset and change course, that woman is going to be shut down. So it's more than just you know, YouTube is making a lot of money off the black women bashing videos. It's bigger than that. A lot of these billionaire rich guys, the resources that they have once belonged to black women before matriarchy was overturned. And so, you know, black women fell from grace. And so, that's why I say anybody who constantly invests in the tearing down of a group of people, you gotta know is something else involved, because billionaires got better things to do with their time. Elites and all these, they have better things to do with their time. So you know, you have to think deeper as the reasons why and how important this group of women must be, that so many people work so hard to keep them down. How important are you? You got to think deeper. It's not just about YouTube making money. Okay, but anyway, I know, going on a tangent, and that's why I need to stop right here with the audio. So yeah, being triggered, responding to these silly guys, and I'm going to talk about it in another audio about how not to be triggered with some of these ladies who constantly do the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. It's time to stop getting triggered with them too. Okay, because that's another level of life force going away. You know, and when you see a group of ladies that do the same thing they've been doing for years and doing it the same way and saying things the same way, and it's like nothing has changed, you know, you can't help but to believe that these women are tethered. They are the tethered women. Okay, and I don't mean that as an insult, because I done been through a lot in my life. So that is not an insult. That is speaking from me knowing. Okay, you can't help but to think a group of women who continue to say the same things, respond the same way, do the same things after so many years and not learn a single thing, they're stuck on repeat, and you can't help but to think that they are tethered. They have been infested in some kind of way. And it's beyond, it's a programming, all right, but it's not programming like somebody just constantly programmed in their heads and say it was a child. This is some other mess going on where these women might have been switched. Okay, because it makes no sense to be on repeat like that. They're stuck on repeat. They're stuck on repeat like it's a program, and whoever they were when they was born as a child is going off somewhere and something else is taking over their bodies. Because it makes no sense to say the things the same way, do the things the same way for years and years and years after all of these warnings, and you keep doing things the exact same way. It's not adding up. I want you to check out a video, if you can find it, called Black People Are Remote Controlled. It was some very good comments in that comment section, especially one by Senait. I think that's her name. Senait. Very good comment by her. So if you can check out that, sorry about that. If you can check out that audio called Black People Are Remote Controlled, and you'll understand what I mean by that. But anyway, that's it. I've gone on long enough because I just started talking. After a while, I got off the subject and I just felt like talking. I'll talk to you soon. All right.